Vocabulary 2. It's lesson 9, and we are talking about the bow today. So a really quick review. I think you guys learned all of this in your very beginning Twinkle class, but you may not have talked about it recently. So, parts of the bow. The screw, the part that tightens and loosens the hair. It's called the screw. Inside, it's actually a screw. Do not do this at home or by yourself. Only teachers can do this. But it actually looks like a screw. Okay, that's the inside part of the end of my bow. So that's why it's called a screw, because it really is one. Okay, so you've got the screw. Then this part of the bow is the stick, right? Hold on, I have to get the screw back in here. And then the bottom part of the bow is the frog. And here we go. A lot of turning. Okay. So you got the frog here, and then the tip, the stick, and the horsehair. The horsehair comes from the horse's tail. Just like you get a haircut, a horse, their tail can get a haircut. They clean it and then they bleach it. That's why it's white. So they bleach all of the hair so it loses the color. And then they clean it again and then stretch it on your bow. Okay? So you've got the frog, the screw. This is the wrapping. It actually is wrapped around there. It's like a thin metal thread or a filament, I think they call it. The grip, kind of where your finger is resting, horsehair, stick, and tip. Whoop, sorry, missing the camera. Tip. Okay, so draw a line from the part of the bow here to the, what it's called, okay? Articulation. The word articulation refers to how a note starts and ends, okay? It's kind of this big category. You know how we talk about tone and what the violin sounds like? Well, articulation is how, if we're talking about it in speech, it's our t and k and l, all those sounds. We articulate them with our teeth, our tongue, and our lips. And in music, we articulate it on a stringed instrument with our bow, okay? And there are lots of different kinds of articulation, but the big category is called articulation, and it's how we start and end the notes, okay? What the note starts like, or the attack of the notes. So, one thing in articulation is we have arco. That means to play with the bow. A-R-C-O. You're just playing the hair on the bow. The opposite of arco is pizzicato, okay? P-I-Z-Z. Now, you remember when we talked about mezzo forte and mezzo piano? We said that the Z's make that kind of sizzle sound. So it's not pizzicato, okay? It's pits. Almost like you're saying, like you dig a pit to plant a tree. So if you had two of those, pits, plural pizzicato, or armpits, okay? There we go, armpits. Pits is plucking the string with your finger. Okay, the next question on your worksheet is name one piece that you have played that has pizzicato in it. Can you think of a piece that you've played that has pizzicato in it? Okay, now when we are playing with arco, we have two bow directions that we use. A down bow, where we're starting at the frog and we're pulling the bow to the tip. Or even just anytime we're pulling the bow towards the tip. An up bow is when we push the bow towards the frog, okay? Down bows, our hand is moving away from the violin, the viola, or the cello. An up bow, our hand is moving closer, okay? Now, it's not a down bow just if it's the full bow. Anytime you're going this direction is down. So You could even do it very little. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you're seeing my hand is going away and then closer. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? So we mark a down bow with this symbol. Okay? That means down bow. And you might see that over a note in your music. Okay? We always put the bowing above the note. Okay? An up bow is with a little V. Okay? And again, this goes over the note. Up. Okay? Down and up. Now, on your worksheet, your paper, you're going to see that I have printed the first line of lightly row, and I put all the bowing in. So we go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. What I would like for you to do on the next line is starting with an up bow, because that's how we play it. We start with an up bow, and you're going to write in the bowing on every note. Up, down, okay? So you would go all the way through writing ups and downs, and it's just every other note. Up, down, okay? Up, down, 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 up. Okay, then the next thing I have to say is very important, and I wrote it here at the bottom of your paper. This is just an exercise. We don't, in your lesson music, do not write all the bowing in, okay? It's too much for our eye to see and try to figure out the note and figure out the bowing. So this is just an exercise for you to get used to practicing writing ups and downs, okay? So in your orchestra music or your lesson music, do not go through and write in up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Because then if you have any fingering marked and if there's any other markings, it's just too much. Your hand knows to play up and down when you're playing it and you're reading it. This is just for practice, okay? To help, so that I know that you know what up and down look like and you know how to write them. Because there are times that we mark them in the music, but we don't write them over every note, okay? The next thing on the second page, the next thing we're going to talk about is another type of articulation, and that is staccato. Staccato means short. Play the note short. Okay? Some pieces that you play staccato in are allegro. Those first four notes of allegro. Short, 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 short. We stop the bow at the end of the note. And remember, we talked about articulation means how we start the note and stop the note, okay? How it ends. So the fact that we stop it and it's cut very short, ba, 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 it's not smooth, is staccato, okay? How that's marked in your music is a dot by the note head, okay? And it goes above the note head. If the note head is up here, it's just gonna go by the note head, a little dot. Now, don't put the staccato dot on the side. That becomes a dotted quarter. That means something different. Or if it's a half note with a staccato, it goes underneath, okay? If you want every note to be staccato and they're eighth notes, you have to put a dot under every note, okay? So on the next section, it's Song of the Wind. We use a staccato bow to play Song of the Wind and a stopped bow. So I want you to put staccato dots over every note of that first line of Song of the Wind, okay? Now, a slur. A slur is when we play two or more notes in one bow direction or one bow stroke, okay? When we go A, B, and we don't stop our bow. Think about minuet number 2. We play triplet, and we go 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, It's all going in one bow. It can go down, it could go up, okay? But when you play 2 or more notes in one bow, we call it a slur. It is marked in your music with a curved line by the note heads, okay? So that's a triplet, which we'll talk about later, but a triplet needs that little 3 there. Here's the slur. Now, your curved line does not touch the note head, okay? You have to give it a little bit of a space between the note head. There you go, okay? Or if it's quarter notes, it could just be 2 quarter notes and a curved line. Or if the stems are going up, okay? And if it touches the notes, it's not a big deal. For the next bowing, it is, okay? So it's good practice just to leave a little bit of space there. So a slur, a curved line, and it goes from wherever the note that you want to start the bow on, and then it curves till the very end. And all of the notes underneath that curve are on one bow, either a down bow or an up bow. Okay, now that's the slur. A hooked bow. Think about Minuet 1. We play down, up, right? So we stopped our bow for those hooked bows. What did we learn just a little bit earlier that means to stop the bow? What symbol tells us on the paper or in your music to stop the bow? The staccato dot. Okay, so we want to stop the bow. So we're going to put 2 dots here because we want the bow to stop. But we also want the bow to go up. So we're going to draw a slur. That tells us put these 2 notes on the same bow stroke. The dots tell us stop the bow. So this is how we mark a hooked bow, okay? Where we hook the 2 notes together on the same bow. So 2 dots with a curved line. Now, if your line runs into your dots, we won't see them, okay? So the dots go first by the note head, just like staccato dots, and then the slur goes with just a little space. This green marker loves to stay on here, so I hope you can see that. The dots and a little space. You can do the same thing. Dot, dot, and a curved line. Okay? Can you see that okay? There we go. So either way, that's a hooked bow. So on number 5, on page 27, I have where you are going to trace. I drew the slurs. Trace the slurs. And you're going to, so here's 2 notes, quarter notes. You're going to slur these 2 eighth notes and then all 4. Okay? Then on number 6, it's dotted, it's hooked bows. So trace the slurs, but then add the staccato dots underneath the slurs so that it becomes a stopped or a hooked bow. Okay. Now number 7. So now that we have hooked bows and slurs, that every note isn't just down, up, okay? So we're going to start with a down bow. I gave you the first one. Then these 2 notes are slurred. Would that be a down bow or an up bow? Down, up, okay? And they're slurred, so write an up bow over the first slurred note. Now, the next note is an A. Write a down bow over that note. A, then it's a hooked bow because there's a dot and a slur. Stop, stop. So this is a down bow. So it's going to go down, up, down, down. Then the next one would be up, down, down. A hooked bow. Up, up, down, down. Then 4 notes slurred. Up, down. So write in the bow directions. Again, this is just an exercise to make sure you understand what the symbols mean on the page. So that way I know that when you look at it, you know what these are meaning. Okay, last page, 2 new dynamic signs. Okay, we know that F means forte. So dynamics can also be part of articulation. It can be part of expression too, but we use our bow for most of the articulation and we use our bow for dynamics. So 2 F's means fortissimo, okay? So remember when we learned prestissimo, very, very fast? So fortissimo means very, very loud. Every time we add an F, we just add an issy. So if you had 4 F's, it would be fortissi, issy, mo. Okay, forte is the first one, then issy, mo. Okay, so if you, however many F's you have, you say the first one is forte, and then issy, if that would be 2, issy, mo. If you had 3 F's, it would be fortissi, issy, mo. If you had 4 F's, it would be forte, fortissi, issy, mo at the end. Okay? It's kind of a funny way, but it's just a way to say it's very, very, very. Issy is more very, very, very. So you keep adding a very. Same thing happens for piano. Pianissimo is 2 P's, so very soft. And if you had 3 P's, it would be pianissimo, okay? Then, to get louder. What word in Italian means to get louder? You've probably heard this from your teacher, and it's crescendo, okay? And how we mark that in the music is with an alligator mouth, okay? Remember that over here at the point is the quiet side. Over here, the wide part of the alligator mouth is the loud side. So, going from soft to loud. What if we did it the other way? So here, this one's forte, that's the wide part. And so now we're getting softer. So, crescendo means to get louder. And then we have diminuendo to get softer. If you were going to dim the lights, would they get brighter or would they get softer or darker? It would get softer lighting or darker lighting. So that's diminuendo. Okay, you're dimming the sound. Diminuendo. Crescendo means to get louder. Okay, then the very last part of your worksheet is I took 3 examples from pieces that you all have played in book 2. One of them is from book 1 for violins and violas. Cellos, you play all of these in book 2. Musette. So then here you're going to see that I give you a direction, okay? Mark an up bow symbol over the first note A. Oops, I need to fix that for you, cellos. I put the wrong thing. Over the very first note D, okay? And then you're gonna mark a down bow over the last note. So I've given you boxes. Go through and do each box and check it off. You're gonna draw a circle around the slurs. Find the slurs and circle them. Write a mezzo forte dynamic sign under the first note under the staff. So dynamic signs go under the staff, okay? Under the notes. Draw a crescendo under the 4/8 notes, and then draw a diminuendo under the last 4/8 notes. Then you have minuet 3, same kind of things. I have you drawing slurs and hooked bows here, so watch what those are. And then minuet number 3, and then witch's dance, okay, with some hooked bows. Any questions, feel free to send me an email or a text or ask your teacher. They are more than happy to help you. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.